Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome to the final part of our first look at the all-new EA WRC DLC. Yesterday we return with what I'm dubbing Clio Chaos. Obviously we've driven obviously the all-new Hyundai, or slightly older Hyundai inside the game, and the 1999 Colin McRae Focus WRC. Yesterday's video, we took the RS Cosworth 1600 out, and then also the Opel R4 car. So today, we've got the two Clios left inside the game. The all-new R3 class, and the R4 car as well. So we're going to do a bit of a direct comparison between the two of them on this video. I'm going to do the same, or I'm going to do one stage from Sweden, and one of the new stages from Greece. Mainly because I want to try and finish that first Greek stage I attempted to yesterday. So I think for this one, we're going to go with the Erzboda stage. Ready for this. Ever so slightly shorter, and I think we'll try in... Can we try it in different conditions? Apparently I can. No idea why my mouse is in the way. But yeah, I think we'll give this one a go then in the Rally 3 car. I didn't realise at the time that it was going to therefore be a direct kind of rival to the WRC Fiesta Rally 3 car as well. So I'm hoping that means in career mode you're going to be able to choose which car you want to drive. The Clio does have more power from a smaller engine, an extra cylinder, and they weigh the same, so I would expect it to potentially be a little bit OP. But let's take it out and kind of see how it handles. Well, I guess that we're going to be really putting my knowledge to the test of these new Swedish stages. How much can I remember? Obviously, this leg only like 0.8 of a kilometre shorter than the other one, so yeah, it's not much difference in it. But yeah, ready to get going then in the all-new Clio R3 car. Of course, these things four-wheel drive. Say the Fiesta are only 230 horsepower, but this thing up at the 260 horsepower mark. So yeah, I would expect it to be a little bit quicker, and 260 horsepower from a 3-pot motor, pretty good going, if you ask me as well there. Obviously similar kind of engine spec to, yeah, some much less powerful cars. I think the only, well, actually no, my old Corsa, I'm pretty certain, was the 3-cylinder motor as well. It's really odd. Because it drove like a 4-cylinder, but was actually a 3-pot. I'm getting off topic anyway. Let's just try and see what this thing is really like. Of course, its only real kind of competitor then in this game will be that Junior WRC car that we've come to know and love, of course, inside this game. Done many a rally in that car and had mixed results in it. I do potentially need to get back into the career mode on this game at some point down the line, and obviously once and for all try and win the WRC title. But I'll tell you what, this thing feels very nimble on the throttle as well. They're very responsive, you know, a bit like the Fiesta as well. Very willing to kind of turn in on corner entry, which I think, especially as kind of a junior competitive car, you know, for most people this will be your first real kind of rally, you know, on the big stage and everything like that. You probably want something that is a little bit kind of more forgiving for your younger drivers, you know, will allow them to kind of make a few errors here and there, or not even errors necessarily, but misjudgments, and to be able to get away with it as well there. Is this the horrible corner? No, it's not the horrible corner I thought it was. Very impressive on the brakes as well. I know obviously we did this run in the Fiesta and then the i10, which obviously, yeah, the i10 packed a lot of straight line speed, of course, 380 brake horsepower. But yeah, this thing just being a little bit slower in a straight line, though, feels very good around this stage. So I'll just try and balance the back through that corner as well. But, I mean, it just drives exactly like you'd hope a rally car would. Only a 5-speed box, though. And I was too busy looking at the top-end speed than where my braking point was there. So that was no fault of the car. Always the flesh and bones behind the wheel that is normally the problem inside this game. And I mean, look at that. You can give it a little bit of a Scandinavian flick, and it really just kind of tuck in and does a very good job of kind of going again. I've been reading kind of your guys' comments on this all-new DLC. Quite a few of you are enjoying this new Sweden stage. A lot of you saying it kind of feels... Well, some of you have said it feels like Safari Rally Kenya, but in the snow. which personally, I'm starting to understand it. It's a lot of kind of rugged terrain and a lot of 90-degree corners. But yeah, I think it's really, really good fun. Nonetheless there. I think the Greek stages are definitely the more popular of the new pack. But yeah, I think this one as well is really, really good fun there. I mean, a lot of other sections on this Swedish rally can be kind of, you know, 90-degree corners and things like that as well. I understand this one feels probably more like that. But yeah, I really, really do enjoy it still, as trying to pick up some big speed then, 170 kilometers an hour. Under the tunnel we shall go, hopefully not hit the ceiling this time. Yeah, definitely not carrying as much speed as in the I-10, so yeah, we're a little bit further away from the roof that time around there, but anyway, come on then. Through another flat-out section. I mean, even for a 10-kilometer stage, I know obviously it's Sweden, so it's normally pretty high speed anyway, but these stages feel ridiculously fast there. 173 clicks showing up on the dash. That's about 105 miles an hour, just over, I want to say. So, pretty impressive in a straight line as well. Maybe I need to do like a full-on direct comparison between this and the Fiesta as well at some point in the near future, but yeah, this thing really, really good fun. So I think it's a worthy competitor. Like I said, without kind of doing a direct comparison between them on a stage that I know really well. Oh, this is the corner. Oh, no, it's not. Luckily, they're just clipping the bank on the outside, kind of kept the car from taking off. But yeah, I wonder if there is a slight pace difference between the two cars. I mean, you might not even be able to use this in career mode, so it might be a fairly irrelevant stat anyway. But yeah, it definitely feels pretty pokey in a straight line. I keep trying to find a sixth gear in it. It definitely isn't there still, but I keep trying to look for it. So there you go. Just remembering to scroll off the speed a little bit earlier that time. Maybe a little bit too early through that run. But yeah, I kind of feel like the first DLC was very hyped up because obviously you had the two new locations. Obviously you had the 2025 WRC cars, even the GI Yaris as well. Which is a whole heap of fun. The second DLC, of course, you know, new Monte Carlo stages is always going to be something people are hyped up for. Really does feel like this DLC, though, has kind of been almost a bit forgotten by a lot of people, and I think that's a bit of a shame as well, because it is very, very good fun as well. So yeah, I would highly recommend you give it a go. But yeah, I just kind of feel like for a lot of people there wasn't enough kind of big flagship things in this DLC, rather than it just being a good all-round pack. There we go, though. The Clio Rally 3 held up pretty well on that stage. They actually felt very, very quick as well. I'm happy with that. So we're going to take the Rally 4 car, like I said, back to Greece. Therefore, it'll kind of serve as a direct comparison to the Opel that we drove yesterday. Well, here we are then, back on the EKO Acropolis Rally. Once again, taking on the Havati stage then. This one didn't go well for me yesterday, so I'm hoping that we can try and finish it in today's run. Drop the hammer. Oh, and that is, well, definitely feels a lot more front-wheel drivey than the Clio 3 car did. Of course, obviously, yeah, we did do this run the other way around in the Opel, so it won't kind of act as a complete one-to-one kind of directive there. But again, immediately I'm just noticing these Rally 4 cars just way more kind of front-end grippy than I've ever noticed inside this game, because that's how it really does feel there. A little bit more understeer than the Opel immediately is the impression. I've had a look through some of the leaderboards as well. I feel like the Opel might need to be bopped slightly. It is a very OP choice. Whoa, in this car class. That does not bode well. That really does not bode well for the rest of this stage there. Like I said, I won't be doing a direct time comparison or anything like that, because we're doing two separate stages of two slightly different distances and everything like that, and well, especially if I picked up a penalty already on this one, doesn't really help us out in terms of the bigger picture. But yeah, I think it definitely, like I said, I've had a look around some of the leaderboards inside the game as well. And it definitely feels like the Opel is the strongest choice, I think, is the way we'll word it now, rather than it definitely just kind of feeling OP. on a lot of different surfaces. So yeah, we'll kind of see what EA do about that in the not too distant future. This thing handles much more like I would expect a Rally 4 car to handle inside this game. I mean, it's still very, very good over the front, but yeah, definitely not quite as OP as the other car as well. So, I mean, it obviously feels a bit quicker than the Rally 3 car, as you would expect as well. It has got slightly more brake horsepower. I believe this thing's also, I could be wrong by saying this, but I think this one's got a 4-pot engine as well. So slightly bigger displacement as well, so... But, oh, no. I just keep falling off, apparently. We'll reset before I do too much major damage to the car. As, yeah, I ended up in that riverbed in yesterday's video as well, so... Clearly, I've still got a lot to learn about this stage. Perhaps this one will become like one of my arch nemesis inside this game, but just trying to kind of flick it through the corners as best as I can. It does feel definitely, I mean, like I said with the Opel yesterday, I think the big thing with these cars is where they're so kind of responsive over the front end. It does kind of mean that if you get them dialed in, they're fantastic, but you just, any kind of accidental overcorrection or something like that can make a big difference in terms of the overall performance as well. And, you know, just, you know, risking that sometimes can be very kind of costly for you over the course of a stage, as we've already proven a couple of times on this one. I'd love to do some kind of more events in these kind of cars as well. Because, again, I feel like there are so many hidden gems inside this game there, and you can definitely see, I mean, we're chucking it in over the front end, like we're trying to do with the Opel. It definitely will grip up in a similar way. It just doesn't feel like it's doing it quite as well. That's not ideal, as the car will try and go rock climbing, and I think I've beached it. Nope, we won't give up. We won't give up. Always persevere. Always persevere on this game. It is a critical way to try and sometimes lose less time. Plus, I'm stubborn. But yeah, it just, say, doesn't feel like it's got as much front end as that Opel did. So we've probably done this the wrong way around by driving that car first, and then kind of taking a step back into this car again then. But, you know, we spoke about it in yesterday's video as well, just how detailed this stage is. It's a very, I have no idea what I hit there. It's kind of a very different stage to what we're used to on the Acropoli Rally, but it's still very quintessentially the Acropoli Rally as well, which I think is a really good job to kind of showcase the different diversity in some of these rally stages, showcase kind of the variety that a lot of these rallies are kind of known for as well, but without kind of losing that magic of kind of, you know, what makes this rally special. And I really do think they've done a fantastic job with it. Probably helps, of course, based on the fact that, you know, you're having to base it, or, you know, I mean, a lot of these stages are pretty much kind of as sensibly accurate as you can make them. But yeah, it's brilliant fun. I think, honestly, yeah, these new stages on Greece, I think I'd probably prefer them over the old ones, to be completely honest, as well. Just, you know, I think they're a little bit different, and hopefully not as pain-inducing as well. You know, that whole climb up through all those hairpins, it always annoyed me more because the AI was stupidly OP through that section. But yeah, so far these stages, I'm hoping you wouldn't have as many problems with it. You just see there, you kind of think the Opel might have gripped up through that corner, and this thing just struggles a bit more to kind of do it there. The bonnet needs to decide whether it's going or staying. That would be quite useful. There you go. As soon as I say that, that'll fly off. And it feels like, again, you can kind of dig it in, throw it around, but you definitely just don't have as much confidence in it as you do with that Opel. I think that's going to be the big difference between these two cars. You know, it might well be that this car isn't really slower over the course of a stage, but it definitely is just not as in confidence inspiring, and that is so important. Well, in a rally car. Get a bit of a tank slapper off the exit there as we almost shucked it off the side of the hill. Like I said, the first goal, first and foremost, is just try and get to the end of this stage as well. But I love the fact now, when I jump on this game, more and more stuff becomes familiar more quickly nowadays than it ever used to before. And I think that's a really, really good thing as well. You know, slowly my brain is adapting to the world of rally driving as well. And, you know, kind of pace notes are becoming a bit more kind of natural as well, which I think is really, really ideal. But come on then. This is a section where obviously we made that mistake yesterday. We didn't admittedly make that mistake, but that was not ideal. Get it going again. I don't know, I think this stage is a little bit shorter than the one the other way around, isn't it? But yeah, this thing definitely feels a bit more forgiving than that RS 1600 car did. I mean, that thing was great fun. It's so scary to try and keep it kind of nailed on the edge. Just try and tuck it in through there. I said, you know, there's not much room to kind of make errors through this downhill section. Definitely seems to be, I'll give this car a bit of credit as well, it seems to pick up out of the power band a little bit better than the Opel did. That definitely seems to be where its strength lies. As in, it just kind of, you know, if I leave it, say, in third gear on this exit, definitely feels to kind of pick up the RPM much better than the Opel would. Which I think, yeah, over the course of a rally, you know, you will find time up by doing things like that. I mean, look at that on the exit there. I think, like, the gears are slightly shorter, which I think, yeah, especially on kind of a low-speed rally stage like this, will be very useful as well. So, although I would probably still have had to guess, say, the Opel's quicker, I think this thing, you know, on these kind of tight, twisty rallies, might be able to kind of hold its own in comparison. Ooh. Definitely lost more bodywork there, though. That's not ideal, but less than 2 splits to go then of this stage. Just trying to kind of throw it in there. There's that little tree on the inside of the cliff face. Be careful to avoid that one. I'm sure that will catch me out at some point in the not too distant future. I mean, it seems almost impossible to hit on the inside there, but I'm sure I will find a way. Oh, come on, nose in. I say you definitely... I mean, once you get it dialed in, it doesn't feel awful. But say, that front end is just definitely not as responsive. But if you can find a bit of a flow state with this car, definitely don't feel like you're at much of a disadvantage either. Through these kind of sections, though, it's so tricky to be precise. Just try and keep it out of doing too much damage on the rocks there. We'll get away with that one. Got one more split to go then. Here from the Acropolis Rally, we are definitely further than we managed in that RS 1600. Definitely in a lot quicker time as well than that RS 1600. Oh, I mean, look at that. Definitely the Opel there with a bit. Kind of tucked the front in and gripped up nicely. This thing, it does just require a little bit more. Kind of got to lumber it round to try and make it happen, but ooh, easy does it, easy does it. Come on, I just want to get to the end, like I said. That's my main goal with this stage. But, you know, like I said in the Rally 3 car, I do feel this DLC is slightly underrated. It's kind of exactly what you need for the game, that kind of none of kind of the A-listers, with maybe the exception of the Focus 99, but I think a lot of people kind of aren't as hyped up by that car as maybe I am. But yeah, overall though, I still think, you know, the DLC or the content that it's brought is a fantastic addition to the game. I mean, sensibly, I would be suggesting that you just buy either the entire game with the DLC included, or obviously just buy the 3 DLC packs combined, because that's going to be kind of the way to go to get the value for money out of it as well. But out of the final corner then, 11 minutes 13 through that stage. We've survived Harvati though, which I'm pretty happy with as well. Thank you all so much for watching these videos. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Now I've kind of driven everything, I do think, yeah, that the Hard Chargers DLC is definitely one to pick up. I'll be honest, Hard Chargers might have been the wrong name for it. I think if you were going to call it that, you probably needed, you know, like a Group B car with 500 horsepower or something like that as well, just into the mix. But they are really, really kind of padding this game out with a whole lot more content at the moment, and that's important, I think, if this is going to be the future of EA WRC as well. That's going to do us for this one, though, and we'll be back very soon with more rally content.